Hi, and welcome to the Black Starters Podcast, featuring stories of Black business owners, leaders, and artists walking through their journey from the start through obstacles and onward to success. Powered by BlackStarters.com. And now, here's your host, Lauren Marie.
Hey Starters, it's Lauren. I am here today with mother-daughter team of Gabby Bows. And in this episode, we talk a lot about the mindset of an entrepreneur and also what it's like to work with your mom and with your daughter in business. If you enjoy this content, please be sure to give it a 5-star rating and review. Also, be sure to check out the show notes on blackstarters.com. All right, so let's jump right in. All right, ladies, so tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you do for fun.
Okay, you start, Gabrielle.
So, my name is Gabrielle Goodwin. I'm 11 years old, and I'm the president and CEO of Gabby Bows. And my business, Gabby Bows, they are barrettes that have 2 faces so you can see the design, and have teeth and craters to trap the hair so you will never lose a bow again. And what I like to do for fun is I like to dance and play a lot on electronics.
And I am Rosalind, Gabby's mom, and co-inventor of the Double Face Double Snap barrette, better known as Gabby Bows. I, of course, have been working with her on this business for now 3 years. I also am a healthcare lobbyist and have been in healthcare for more than 20 years.
Wow. So this is actually a huge season for you, I guess, then, huh?
Yes.
It just ended yesterday.
Yeah, it just ended yesterday, and a lot of the reason why I had to keep rescheduling is I am really kind of the key person or key point person for the entire state related to open enrollment. So I've been on the road for about 20 different enrollment events the last 7 days all around the state. And so, yeah, definitely a busy time.
That's really interesting. Okay, so let's get into the business. Gabby, is this your, I'm assuming, is this your very first job?
And, yes, it is.
Okay, and then tell me, how did you get involved with this? How did this start up?
I was 5 at the time, and my bows kept falling out of my hair at school, at dance, everywhere. And my mom was just frustrated of me losing barrettes all the time. Mm-hmm. And so she ranted on Twitter. And our pastor saw the tweet, and he said, "Sounds like a market you need to break into." And my mom told me after a few days after that rant, and I was 5, like I said, and she said it, and I jumped up and was like, "Mommy, are we going to make a bow?" And she was like, "Probably not," but I kept pushing her, and we started working on the idea, and now the business is a reality.
Very cool. So, Ms. Goodwin, I have to know, what's your, I know you said that you work as a healthcare lobbyist today, but had you had any experience with product development or with managing a business?
Not at all. We are first and second generation entrepreneurs, first-time entrepreneurs. So I had no entrepreneurship background, really even interest at the time. Mm-hmm. So this was very the first idea, and for it to be a product that we had to develop and patent certainly was very overwhelming, particularly because what this product is about has nothing to do with what I've been doing the last 2 decades related to my career.
Okay, so how was the process getting started for you? When you talk about doing something that you've never done before, you've not maybe seen a model of entrepreneurship before, what were some of the more difficult steps or obstacles that you ran into in the initial phases?
I think for me, a lot of it was just mental, the mentality, mm-hmm. being overwhelmed with, what do you do with, what do you do with an idea? If it was not for Gabrielle, we wouldn't have Gabby Bows. We would not be talking to you for this podcast. She pushed so much that as her mom, I really just wanted to try to prove a point to her that nothing was impossible. Mm-hmm. My wildest dream is that we would come up with an idea, sell it to a company, put some money aside for her college fund, and then I would go on with my career. Mm-hmm. Even when we started, I was not trying to start a business. I just had never imagined doing anything like that. When our first effort to try to sell it to a company failed after some focus groups, though. So we had some good get some good indicators through trying to sell the idea that, we may be on to something when we couldn't go through with the first idea that I had, the biggest, wildest idea I had about selling it. We basically had to just turn and do it ourselves because I was just still determined not to let Gabrielle down and prove to her that, things were not impossible. So that push really helped me get over the mentality of this is too big, this is impossible. Having a 5-year-old, energetic, fearless daughter is what led me into entrepreneurship.
So one of the things you touched on there was using focus groups and finding that there was definitely a need. Can you talk a bit about that phase? I think it's really easy to push out something that you think is a good idea and then the market doesn't respond. But to hear that you did some kind of market research, if you will, I think is really interesting. Can you talk about that?
Sure. So the focus group that I just referenced when talking about trying to sell it to a company, the company person, my contact there, took it through 2 rounds of focus groups at their company. And after it, advanced that way, and then they finally came back and said, it just doesn't fit our business strategy moving, forward right now. Maybe come back to us in a couple of years. That was my first indication that we were on to something. But of course, as we developed the idea and came up with the idea, got it drawn, got a 3D image of the drawing, and then started to get prototypes, we did have a focus group of moms, of daughters that, were close enough to us that we could trust with sharing an idea in its very early stages, but not so close to us that they couldn't be objective and telling us, this works, this doesn't work, you probably need to do this, you probably need to do that. This would improve the product. So focus groups has been, since the beginning, very important. When we decided to introduce 5 new colors this year, we surveyed our customers and got them to rank the colors that they wanted. And those 5 colors is what rose to the top. Every time we think about introducing a brand new product, like we just introduced the Gabby Box, there's a small group of moms, of girls that I went back to and said, we're thinking about introducing this type of product. Would you buy it? Would you use it? If you would, what color would you like it to be? What size would it like to be? So focus groups and that market research is very critical to our success to date.
So Gabby, what would you say were some obstacles that you ran into in getting started? And what were maybe the lessons you learned?
Some obstacles when we started to get into 2 years of business was that we were always in business competitions and we would always mostly lose, and we don't really have that big of a resume to say that we won every single competition that we went to. Even though I am a young entrepreneur, doesn't mean that I will win every single competition, and we have lost a lot of competitions, but I've learned how to deal with it. And one of the lessons that I've learned is that no just means next opportunity, and that after every no, there's going to be a yes. Even after 10 no's, you may see us on TV, but that might have been through 10 other no's before we got to that big national TV spot.
I am just so impressed with you. I think that there are still 20 and 30 and 40-year-old people still trying to figure that out. And and so I'm so glad that you shared that. So I'm moving in a bit of a different direction because I like that both of you really touched on the mental aspect of starting a business. And I think it's probably the most underrated of all factors in starting any kind of a project is the fact that you will go through very tumultuous, emotional roller coaster. And one day you're going to feel like you're conquering the world, and the next day you're going to be like, what are we doing? And that's just a part of the process. And so, and just switching gears a little bit, can you talk about the mindset of an entrepreneur being new to the game and really figuring it out as you go?
Yeah, I think that the mindset definitely is one who perseveres, pushes past obstacles, a mindset that it'll get better. Keeping a vision ahead of what we're trying to achieve and getting to that point, even though there may be setbacks. Everybody's trying to wait for the big break until they get on Shark Tank or they get this huge investment of multi-million-dollar retail contract and retail deal. Celebrate when you hit your 10th state online order. We had a big celebration. I was looking at Facebook memory yesterday. It was a year yesterday that Gabrielle reached her goal of having online orders in all 50 states.
Wow.
And, some people still haven't reached that goal. But, that's a goal she set. We asked her to come up with, yearly goals, and that was one of them. So she was just keeping track on the refrigerator. Every time we had a new state, we'd check it off, and we'd celebrate every state. And then what was last? Alaska?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were at 49, and we were waiting on Alaska. And we got that order in from Alaska. And there's a video I posted on Facebook.
I was just on the computer. Yeah. And then my mom walked in the room and was like, Gabrielle, guess what? I was like, what? She was like, you hit 50 seats. I was like, and I screamed for a very long time, 5 seconds. But
it was very loud, too.
And now, here's a quick word from our supporters.
Hi, this is Q from Q's Cakes. Please check me out at qcakes.com. You can also find me on Facebook /QS Cakes. We have amazing comfort food cakes that are going to be on sale. And yes, we ship all over the United States. Once again, visit me at qcakes.com.
Now, let's get back to the show.
I've never seen a mother-daughter team before. And especially not, of course, with the age dynamic. So can you talk a little bit about what that's been like to work with your mom or with your daughter?
Since the 3 years that we have worked on this business, I've been able to do more with my family than I have before because everybody's really busy. My dad's a comedian, so he has all these shows. My mom's a healthcare lobbyist and everything else. And when I was little, it was very kind of weird not having my parents around all the time because they always were away doing a show or away speaking at the State House or whatever. And now since we get to go around and do all these vendor shows and have all of our family, not including the people in this house, having all of our family come and get together and get to sell bows and get to hang out during that point, that is just very exciting for me to have all my family here and to spend more time with my mother like I haven't.
Yeah, it's really great that sharing the business has allowed you to spend that time together. I hear stories all the time of people who, because they're, as an individual, starting a business, it's long hours and a lot of time away. And so it really creates a divide between them and their family because people will say to them, oh, I guess you're just too busy for us. But to hear that business has actually brought you closer together is a really awesome thing.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of how you use business. For us, it's family business, regardless of which business it is, whether it's my husband and his comedy career or Gabby Bows. It's all a family business. So we're all in, we're all involved, we're all engaged at whatever level we can be engaged. So that has us spending more time together working on the business. So those long hours that other people work on the business, we're working long hours together. And I think entrepreneurship has allowed my husband and I to teach Gabrielle and her little brother invaluable life lessons that, regardless of what happens with this company, it will make an immeasurable impact on her life. Absolutely. Whether it's academically, business-wise, just life skills, how to talk to somebody and look at them in the eye, maintaining eye contact, having a firm handshake, being able to talk to a group of people and be confident about that. We started this company and Gabrielle could probably share more, but she's introducing in 2018 an electronic course, but how she went is called Big Courage, how she went from being a shy kid to a kid CEO. You know, people see Gabrielle on Facebook and Periscope videos, and they're like, wow, this 11-year-old is just dynamic. Her personality. People don't know Gabrielle's an introvert. They don't know she's naturally, by nature, her temperament is a shy, reserved, would really rather be in the corner somewhere by herself. But business and entrepreneurship has helped her push past all of that to be the Gabby people know today. And in doing that, we've been able to just teach her about how to be more confident. So to look at her growth and confidence and her being able to speak to a room full of girls and their moms or at a business conference of 300 people, it's just been most rewarding out of everything. No award, no TV appearance is better for her dad and I than for her dad and I to watch her grow and her confidence over the last 3 years.
So what would you say in light of your past 3 years and all of the obstacles that you have had to overcome, but also the ways that you've grown and really seen the light at the end of the tunnel, if you will? What would you say to an aspiring business owner who's afraid to take the leap? Maybe they have an idea or something's been exposed to them as a gap in the market, but they're just afraid. They don't know if they'll be well received. They don't know how, maybe whether they're smart enough to carry it out, and maybe they don't have a model of entrepreneurship within their community, someone they can replicate or follow. What encouraging words might you have for them?
I would just say to keep going no matter what, to always persevere and never give up, so then they can go far and be successful.
I would just add to that, echo that, and then add to that a lot of people get stuck just trying to think it through. The analysis paralysis. Like you can't figure out what the first 5 steps are, so you don't make the first step. I always just encourage people to make the first step. Every day with that idea, do something. And it may be as small as researching to see whether there's already patent out there. For example, if you got a product out there, idea, see whether something like that is out there. Researching it, going to get a business license. I mean, like every small step you take will give you more confidence to take the second step. It may be, for us, it was sitting down at the kitchen table every day, coming up with the idea. After we realized we couldn't draw it ourselves, hiring an artist to do a 3D image of what was in our head. Small step. Getting the business license, like I mentioned. Starting to work on a provisional patent. You may not have the money for a full utility patent or a design patent, and you may not know how to get in touch with a lawyer, but a provisional patent is something that you can manage yourself, like $250. So just making those small steps gives you the courage and the confidence after you make that first small step, like, wow, I did that, to go to the next step. And then you just constantly build on the courage, build on the confidence, and it strengthens your mentality and your resolve to keep pushing forward. Because a lot of people say, well, if I can't figure out how to do my utility patent, I'm just not going to start. Like, okay, there's a lot of steps you can take before you get to that point. Maybe you're researching and Googling, trying to find the right lawyer to call. It's any small step. So just, every day I was just like, okay, we're going to do something to work toward the business.
Yeah, absolutely. Something. That's the way. And I think that's a good note to end on. Ladies, I thank you again for your time and for sharing your story. And Gabby, I know that this is just the beginning for you. All right, so be sure to check them out at Gabby Bows, GabbyBows.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a 5-star rating and review. And if you'd like to support this work, please go to blackstarters.com and click on the Patreon button. All right, see you in the next episode.
Thank you for listening to the Black Starters Podcast. For more exclusive content, don't forget to log on to blackstarters.com. There you can find all our social media sites. And if you like this episode, don't forget to leave a 5-star review, comment, and share.